Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Before I get into the video, I just want to say, and hopefully this is the last time I say this, I don't know what my commitment level is going forward, but I am hoping to do at least one video a month on a life topic like this. And, again, before I get into the video, just a little aside on feedback that I think is valuable to hear. When I did my last video explaining the pause of the channel and the podcast, one of the things that I did say was I'm open to feedback and hearing anybody's thoughts on the pause. I appreciated all the support while I was heavily involved in content creation, and I wanted to make sure I heard the people that had supported me through the journey. And one of the interesting pieces of feedback that I got from my last video, was it would still be cool for you to make your own life vlogs on a life topic, even once a month or as often as you feel like. We get that reaching out to podcast guests, prepping for the interviews, posting the content is a lot, but you just hitting, record on your camera, an hour a month, I think hopefully isn't too much for you. And so I think that was a really good lesson for me, because when we're thinking about a decision, sometimes we think within our own reflection and we think our own thoughts are good enough, and sometimes we're hesitant to involve other people because, whether it's, they're just whatever hesitation of, now another, they're going to add their 2 cents or whatever. And, I get it in certain areas, with artistic areas like musicians, art, poetry, things like that. You want to control the creative. But, I think for the most part, getting, especially in bigger decision making, getting feedback from close friends or other outside individuals, I think is really valuable. And so, I just want to thank all the people that gave me that feedback, because it wasn't something that I was thinking about. When you're at a level of posting 7 days a week, you're at this level, and doing anything less than that seems like you're cheating, your effort level, or you're cheating the channel, or you're cheating your audience. And it took some time for people to explain to me, or for me to even reflect, like, hey, even whatever you can do once a month, even if that may seem like, 10% of the effort that you used to give, that's still value. It still might be valuable to someone, and so, I guess my point being, I think always try to incorporate feedback into the decisions that you're making, because you'll maybe get feedback that you wouldn't have thought of, and it'll make you think of other things. And in this case, it's the reason I'm even doing this. I thought, like I said, from an effort level, or from an energy level, I never want to give less than 100%. And I associated 7 days of posting a week as 100%. But as I take a step back and I reflect, ultimately, we have to do what's best for ourselves in terms of our own well-being, and so even, and things evolve and things change, and so for now, I hope it's once a month. It's definitely my goal. Maybe sometimes it's more, Maybe some months it can be, 2 times or 3 times or 4 times a month. But the expectation right now is I'm trying for once a month. Sorry for the long intro. Today I want to talk about this idea of becoming a better, the best version of ourselves, and not letting imposter syndrome stop you from being your best self. So I was having a conversation with an individual. He reached out because he had kind of seen, from afar, I had done this social media content creation journey. He was thinking about starting his own social media presence for, a business he wanted to run on the side, / part-time. And he wanted to know what it was like, to post on Facebook, LinkedIn, maybe even do video like YouTube consistently. And it was interesting, one of the things that he kept saying while I was trying to encourage him to try, I always believe, there's no harm in trying. He kept saying, I don't know if I'm that guy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a nobody. I haven't done anything. Does it make sense for a guy like me to post? And I think it's one of the interesting things about the democratization of the internet. I think a lot of people's thinking is still in like the 1980s and 1990s of, those existing pillars and the thought processes back then. Like, today, the environment that we're in is totally different. When you think of the biggest social media stars, think Emma Chamberlain or Mr. Beast or whoever you follow, it's not like they had the credentials from the beginning to become a big YouTuber. They weren't validated by society when they first started. They started with 0 subscribers just like everybody else. The credibility or validation that they have now comes from years and years of posting and building an audience, and came from, probably years of being a nobody. Obviously if you're speaking on a medical professional thing or something that requires a degree or whatever, yes, then, if you're giving financial advice, yes, then you need to be a credentialed individual in some sense of, but, in general, if you're just starting a side part-time business, like, I don't think there should be any inferiority complex that, I'm not anybody, and I can only pursue social media if I am somebody, I think a lot of times people talk about the fear of failure, making mistakes and losing it all. But it's interesting too, I think a lot of people suffer from the fear of success, the fear of a greater positive image of themselves. This conversation with this individual reminded me of, some of my friends who have, been through some traumas in their life and, could be characterized as, crazy or a lot to handle. And I speak to them sometimes, and it's the same conversation. They'll interact with me and be like, "Oh, but I'll never be calm and happy and put together. I'll always be crazy and with this edge." And I'm like, no, like, you can become a calmer version of yourself. It will take time. It will take work. It might take therapy. It might take coaching. It might take reading an emotional intelligence book. It might take addressing things you haven't from your past. But you can become a calmer and happier version of yourself. So I guess that's sort of my message. No matter, where you are in your life, however this applies to you, you can become a better version of yourself. And don't doubt that. In the same way that through years of work and posting, Mr. Beast or Emma Chamberlain, got to the place in their life where they're big YouTubers. Same thing applies to whatever thing, that you're trying to better yourself in. It may take time, it may take years, it may take, some work, but it can happen. It can definitely happen. Hope that is something of value. Feel free to leave me any comments. If you have any vlog ideas for me or a topic you'd like me to speak about, please let me know. And thank you for your time. Bye, guys.